And we're live. Welcome back to Please Don't Livestream. It's episode 18, and we're gonna have some Oscar discussions. It's the big thing. It's trending on Twitter and everything. So, if anything is gonna bring in the clicks and the views, it's probably gonna be this. And today we have, as well, not as usual, but usually, Donnie is here. We're gonna be joined by Gabba later, hopefully. But we also have a very special guest today, a fellow YouTuber and film critic. You want to go by all walks of film, or you can introduce?
I can go by Ren.
Okay, well, we have Ren from All Walks of Film. Great YouTube channel. You should definitely check it out. And he just felt I asked if he wanted to join us because I know we don't really share the same thoughts about all the movies, so try to spice it up a little bit. But I guess I know both of you watched the show, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. What are your general thoughts on the show? Like, the speeches, the jokes, and all that. If you compare it to like last year or the year before, or whatever. What are your general thoughts?
It was like eating a stale Subway sandwich.
Okay.
You think it could be nice, but in the end, you just feel it was very bland and boring for many parts. But it's Jimmy Kimmel didn't really fit for the part of being a host. He worked pretty okay last year, but this year it didn't work. He repeated some jokes. For example, bringing celebrities to the cinema. Was not a big fan of it.
Okay.
But it was as well predictable. If you follow all the critic circuits and the different writers and directors guilds, then it was a very predictable award show, actually. Okay. There were a few things I liked. I thought some of the musical performances were really good, especially Sufjan Stevens' song from "Call Me by Your Name."
Yeah, he has such a beautiful voice.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It was a plus as well that Saint Vincent was playing the guitar next to Sufjan Stevens as well, which was a nice addition to it. But nothing special. Everybody's talked about Frances McDormand's speech. It was one that I would say I liked. That one I liked a bit. But otherwise, there were no funny jokes. There wasn't nothing that made me really crack up.
Well, what were your thoughts, Ren? We talked briefly about it before.
I actually like the show. I think it's better for the Oscars. The Oscars is always like one of those shows that, it's half interesting, it's half pretentious as hell, but, without the educational edge that I don't know educational, but like whatever the edge that Khan has, it doesn't have that prestige.
Sure. No, definitely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I always get frustrated, but I always drink during the Oscars, so that made it more enjoyable. I was with friends watching it, but probably the most entertaining joke was so Jimmy Kimmel offered a jet ski for whoever did the shortest Oscar speech.
Okay, that was actually really fun.
and Mark Bridges for The Phantom Thread won the jet ski, and he appeared. Really? Yeah.
His speech was barely 34 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That kept me engaged through a lot. Just that simple premise, it's like they should do this more often, especially because so many people go long. And I was really shocked. I was also shocked that Frances McDormand did not cuss one time during her speech, and she didn't go overtime.
Well, yeah, they would have fit the character, but I don't know. Oh, okay. Because I saw a bunch of pictures of someone sitting on a jet ski in the auditorium. And I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And that now it really makes sense. Okay,
yeah,
and
Mark Bridges, the costume designer for the Phantom Thread.
Oh, okay, good. Well, okay, at least they got one award right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's actually very clever, because I know sometimes, you know, people go over long with the speeches, and I don't know, I don't mind it really, especially if it's someone I like. I can listen to them for a while, but when they start playing the like wrap it up music, it's always kind of, I don't know, I feel it's kind of cringy that they start playing it and they have like half their speech left. So to like put this like challenge up that whoever does it the shortest wins something. It's pretty smart.
Yeah, and I know you and I disagree about Guillermo del Toro, but I was really mad about the Golden Globes doing that. They like cut off his speech, and it was a really good speech, and he just kind of looked at them like, really?
Yeah, the whole Golden Globes thing was weird. It was a weird vibe. I guess it was kind of close to the whole Me Too thing still. So yeah. I think that whole award show was kind of weird.
The Oscars got pretty. They really limited the political tone. I thought it was really gonna go full political, and I think that people saw how the Golden. I think Golden Globes put like a climax. Like
yeah, exactly.
It couldn't be more. And so it was a few political bits, but it wasn't as forced as it was in Golden Globes.
No, or, yeah, for example, you had the blackout.
The blackout?
Yeah, where everybody wore black for Me Too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and we had it as well on Swedish award shows. For example, the Swedish Film Awards had it, as well the Swedish Grammy Awards had it as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's understandable, and some political discussion is to be expected, but I prefer to keep like because movies, it's entertainment for me. I mean, they can be political, but when it comes to like celebrating movies for being movies, I prefer to try to keep like movies and politics separated. Not entirely. I mean, they do mix sometimes, but yeah, if they kept it to a minimum, that's I would say that's a good thing. It went very overboard at the Golden Globes.
Says the guy with an American flag on his shirt.
well, it's Ken Bone. I mean, I like Ken Bone, so I bought the shirt.
Okay.
Ken Bone.
Oh, go. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it gets some weird looks sometimes, especially the last year. If you don't see the face, it's like, oh, that guy. I mean, I know I'm not gonna talk about my MAGA hat. I have one of those too, but I haven't worn it yet because I bought it as a joke, or I got it as a joke. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna wear this. It's not gonna work. Fuck it. But I have it.
There is one. Speaking of MAGA hats. In the video game museum in Stockholm, they had a "Make Economy Great Again" cap.
Oh, that I would wear.
It was expensive though. It was like $40. But I would totally have bought it.
yeah, because that's a statement I agree with. So I would wear that. But yeah, let's talk like quickly about some of the, I don't want to say the lesser awards, but I mean like sound mixing, sound editing. Because we can even talk about those two together, because, well, they both went to Dunkirk. And I can't really disagree with that. I thought that movie was like on a technical level, it was a masterpiece. Mm-hmm. I was floored by the technical aspects of that movie.
But have you seen it after you've seen it on the cinema? Have you seen it on Blu-ray or DVD?
Yes, I bought it and watched it with a friend on his TV, and it does lose some of its grandeur.
Not as much small TV. As one of my kids that were at school, because I work with kids, and one of them came to me. That Dunkirk movie wasn't good. I'm like, why? Nah, it wasn't good, but I think it must have been where I saw it. So where did you see Dunkirk? on an airplane. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not the right medium.
Oh,
No,
no.
it's like we saw it on 70 millimeters, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we saw an actual
wow.
film print. It was so awesome. I don't know if it's pretentious or not, but it's a different feeling when you're actually watching an actual film print. I've done it a few times before, and it's really awesome.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to go to Dunkirk or Baby Driver, because Baby Driver had some really good sound editing, did some really inventive things with that. But I really think that theater experience with Dunkirk, with the sound, with every bullet sounding like a bomb, made the film win. Definitely. In those categories.
Definitely. I mean, I saw them both in the theater, and both of them are great when it comes to sound. But I think Dunkirk had the edge there, and Baby Driver had a slight edge when it came to like the music selections. But I'm not sure how much that actually plays into sound editing or mixing. So I wouldn't have been mad if Baby Driver won, but I definitely think Dunkirk deserved those two. Definitely.
Yeah, and with Hacksaw Ridge winning last year, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a war movie that wins this year for sound editing and sound mixing.
I honestly can barely remember Hacksaw Ridge. I mean, I saw it in the theater, and I was like, yeah, it was fine. Or the second half was fine. I hated the first half. Just I don't know.
I actually really like the first half, but like the second half.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's the most violent film about pacifism I think I've ever seen.
Oh yeah. That was the irony wasn't lost on me. It was like, oh, yes, pacifism is good. Look at all these people we're killing. I mean, it worked, but I don't know. It was very like hit you on the head with it.
Well, and it was done in such a stylized way. Like if it was done to like reveal the true nature and the true horror of war, then it would have worked. As far as, you know, showing violence and still having a pacifist message. But the fact that it's Mel Gibson, so it's going to glorify everything that you see on screen. And, you know, the main character is basically a stand-in for Jesus Christ because, you know.
Definitely. But talking about Dunkirk, when it came to sound, I mean, actually experiencing that sound, like hearing it in a cinema, it was an experience like beyond most other movies I've seen, at least in the cinema like that. And the sound, the same with the sound mixing. I mean, I'm not that technical when it comes to sound. I'm not even exactly sure what sound mixing means, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I get it, but I mean, how do you decide which movie had the best sound mixing? I don't know.
It's sound mixing is essentially taking all the elements and putting them together into the final edit. And sound editing is like creating the sound and putting them in the file and organizing them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, you do have to be an audiophile to really understand the art of sound mixing because there are a lot of things at play with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I've never been a big sound person, so.
Yeah, me neither.
So let's move on. We had the first two, sound mixing and sound editing. I had a list. I lost my list.
I think costume design came directly afterwards.
Yeah, it was a really weird order this year.
Yeah, I'm finding a bunch of different lists where they don't go in any specific order.
But if it was the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but if it was costume, who were the nominees for costume? I mean, we know who won, but
Mark Bridges was. I think Victoria and Abdul was another one. Shape of Water was nominated.
Yeah.
And Darkest Hour.
And Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I still say Phantom Thread deserved that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the clothing goes perfectly with the theme of the movie. So
Yeah, and it is like it's such an integral part of the movie.
I
So it
was
makes
very
sense.
surprised that neither Sandy Powell nor Milena Canonero were nominated this year, because they're always nominated for best costume design.
But
Sandy
did they have any
Powell
movies?
dominated. Why do I know this? But Sandy Powell especially dominated the being nominated like the whole beginning of the 2000s.
Yeah,
I think she was nominated 2 times during 1 year, and I think she did not win.
Well, the
She
costume
actually-
designer for Darkest Hour was nominated for both Darkest Hour and Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, I definitely preferred the. I mean, costumes isn't my big thing either, but I mean, I liked the style and all of that of Beauty and the Beast. I mean, it really popped all the color in that. But I mean, the style really worked in Phantom Thread, and I usually don't notice those kind of things, and I really noticed it in that movie. But
Well,
I
the
guess
film begs you to.
yeah, exactly. And I was so mesmerized by the movie, so it was hard not to like think of every little detail in that movie.
And Daniel Day-Lewis, being a method actor, actually made one of the dresses in the movie.
He did? Oh my god! I knew he trained as a as a designer in that, but I didn't know that. Yeah, well, he's quite a unique character.
You both have
sad
seen
we're
Phantom.
losing him.
You both have seen Phantom Thread, right? My question is: did Danny Day-Lewis get sick for real? Because during this scenes where he was ill, I thought he's kind of method acted. He's probably method acted getting ill. He got pneumonia while making Gangs of New York, actually.
Well, that would make sense. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would like purposefully like poison himself or at least get sick. I don't know. I don't know if I would go that far, but who knows? I wouldn't put it past him though. But let's move on to makeup and hairstyling. And yeah, Darkest Hour won, which I understand to some degree, because that Winston Churchill makeup looked really good.
Yeah, you couldn't see the seams anywhere on the face, under the eyes, by the ears. It was insane. And we watched it in high definition on a big screen, and we pushed our heads as close as we could to the screen at one time during the movie just to see if we could see a seam. Nothing.
No. And I see they went up against Victoria Abdul and Wonder.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen those two, so I'm not sure why Victoria Abdul was nominated. I know why Wonder was nominated, because he has the face.
Yeah,
thing.
they made the kid from Room pretty ugly.
Yeah, and you can't see it as him, but I don't know. I guess I would say it's a bigger achievement to actually.
Speaking of Wonder, I read a funny a really interesting article that Wonder has been. It has been gotten pretty good reviews in the States.
Yeah.
Some people have criticized it because it uses somebody with disability so people can understand how fortunate they are. And there's actually a name for that kind of movie, like where you use people with disabilities to understand, so the normies can understand.
Okay.
And it's called inspiration porn.
Oh well,
fantastic.
I haven't seen Wonder, so I don't know. I wouldn't be able to.
But I've
seen for being that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying though.
Have you seen? This is an old book. We're going 90 years back in time. Pumpkin with Christina Ricci, where she's like a sorority girl, and they work with kids with disabilities, and she falls in love with a kid that has a disability. He has like a sort of autism, and they fall in love. And that movie is truly inspiration porn at its maximum.
Yeah, I suppose there can be some, like, they can get a little bit cheesy, but I mean, I'm trying to like rack my brain for some movie like that, and I'm
Mask with Eric Stoltz.
Yeah, maybe I
I think Mask is really.
It's good, but it's a bit inspiration porn.
I haven't seen that since I was a kid, so I don't want to say.
I remember I had a huge. I remember I had a huge crush on Laura Dern when I saw that movie.
Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah, especially Wild at Heart.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. But I'm like the only ones I get like the pop up in my head for some reason is a movie called Theory of Flight with Kenneth Branagh and what's she called? Tim Burton's ex-wife, Helena Bonham Carter. I don't know if any of you have seen it. She plays a girl with I think she has cerebral palsy. Who she only has like a few years or like a few months left to live, and her one wish is to lose her virginity before that, and she like entraps her caretaker, which is Kenneth Branagh, into doing it. It's actually a really good movie, but I wouldn't call it inspiration porn though, but it's a really good movie in that kind of genre. And the other one is it's the oh no, what's he called? The guy who made Dollhouse.
Todd Solondz.
Yes, Todd Solondz. He made another movie, which is like 4 short films. Oh no, what's it called?
Oh, are you talking about? No, not storytelling, because storytelling is 3.
No, wait, it could be. Yeah, it is storytelling.
Okay. It is. Oh yeah.
The movie or the short about the girl dating a guy with also cerebral palsy, I think. Mm-hmm. And she's like doing it because he has cerebral palsy. It's so weird. Because she thought that would make him like a nice person. It's that is not inspiration porn, but it's a really good movie. But well, yeah. Getting back to the Oscars, I can see why Darkest Hour won. It is definitely an achievement in costume and makeup and hair. The next one I have on my list is Best Achievement in Cinematography. And I know that was like a fan favorite winning there. Blade Runner 2049, Roger Deakins.
Finally!
Yeah, finally.
He has been snubbed so many times, and specifically for Sicario.
Oh, yeah.
Which I still think is one of the most beautifully cinematographed movies I've seen for a long while.
Yeah. I know I wrote on Twitter that he deserved an Oscar, but in this year I would have given it to Hoytema Hoytema for Dunkirk.
Yeah, I agree. Roger Deakins is a cinematographer that never goes style over substance until now, and then he wins. So I think that's kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of Blade Runner as it is, so maybe that I'm a bit biased, but yeah, you shut up. But I did not see. I mean, yeah, I thought the landscapes were cool. I thought the set design was cool, but his cinematography was just capture the landscape, capture the characters, and he did it well. He did really well, but the fact that Hoytema manages to make a like very kinetic war movie with a big IMAX camera on his shoulders. I don't know. I feel like the actual like physical feat of filming something like that goes past the jury when they voted for that, I think. Mm-hmm. And I know that has happened before with Christopher Nolan movies. I was so sure that Batman Begins would win, but it lost to Memoirs of a Geisha. I still remember that because that made me mad.
It makes me mad now.
Yeah, but
I really think. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna fill the air.
Oh, okay. I really think that Nicholas Karakatsanis was robbed for I, Tonya, because the cinematography in that was spectacular, and he was out there filming on skates. Like that. Yeah. Yeah, he had an expensive actual film camera and did skates and wore skates while he was filming Margot Robbie and the stunt double.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's things like that I feel gets like forgotten when it comes to cinematography. It's not just which movie had the prettiest picture. No, who actually got out there and shot the footage, and what did they have to endure to do it. And that's why I think Hoyte van Hoytema should have gotten it. But I understand why Roger Deakins got it. It was kind of like with Scorsese. It was his turn. And it is a beautiful movie, even though I would have preferred Dunkirk. And I mean, the other ones, I haven't seen Mudbound, but Darkest Hour, I mean, it's just a bunch of rooms. It's nothing in particular there. Shape of Water was beautifully shot, but it was nothing. It had nothing against Dunkirk or Blade Runner. So I do kind of agree with that win to some extent. So do you want to? Any of you want to add anything about that?
Just on Mudbound.
Oh, you go ahead, Ren.
All right, so just on Mudbound, it was a little too Terrence Malick-y, but without the finesse that his cinematographers usually have. It looked a lot like Days of Heaven and Badlands, but not as good. It was imitating that, but it didn't quite grasp it for me.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought when you said Terrence Malick, I thought it was of his like later movies, and they look a very specific way. But okay, if it's his older movies look great, but if you're saying they're just copying it, then I don't know. You gotta bring something unique to it.
But props up for actually nominating a woman for the first time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And if she did a good job, she deserved the nomination, definitely. But let's move on to production design.
I was going to point out something about cinematography.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
That definitely should have been nominated, and it was Killing of a Sacred Deer, because I think that cinematography is so haunting, especially the whole corridor scene.
Yeah. I keep forgetting movies that aren't nominated.
Gives me the creeps.
That movie, I agree. The way
I'm just waiting for it to get released on Blu-ray so I can watch it again.
Yeah, me too. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did.
Ren? Okay, what did you think about it?
I thought it was really good. I personally think it's my least favorite Yorgos Lanthimos film that I've seen, but I still liked it a lot.
Okay, well, that's actually it's actually the first one I've seen of him.
Man, you're in for a
really
treat.
Liked it.
You're in for a treat because it just gets better.
Dogtooth is.
Yes, Dogtooth.
I had to shower afterwards. It's so difficult. And Lobster, he has this talent of making everything so. He's like Michael Haneke, but not as distant and cold as Haneke can be in certain times. There's a lot of humor in Yorgos Lanthimos movies. And then it just hits you with really bizarre imagery.
And I know.
You have stuff to watch. You can borrow my Blu-rays.
I mean, I know I skipped The Lobster because I was in like a phase, like I'm not going to watch whatever people say is good. Fuck that. So I skipped it out of spite, which I know is stupid, but I did. And I know a Dogtooth. I remember I read the premise of it. And it's the one about it's the father like keeping his family like locked in.
Yes.
Like pretending like the world around him doesn't exist or something.
Yeah. And he changes significance of words and says that certain words mean other things.
That just made me, I don't know, that made my skin crawl just reading about it. So that's probably why I skipped it. But
it's certainly the most It's certainly the most disturbing Oscar movie. Yeah, I mean, movie ever to be nominated for an Oscar. Like, maybe A Clockwork Orange might be up there, but like, I don't really find that film that disturbing nowadays. But definitely at the time,
yeah.
But yeah, that movie's wild. After watching it, I was shocked that it was nominated.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Best achievement in production design. And, well, the nominees were Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, Blade Runner, and Beauty and the Beast. Oh, and Shape of Water. And Shape of Water won, which I actually totally agree with.
I really love the whole style of the 1950s. That was really well achieved. I must say that it would have been fun that Blade Runner won, but it was all CGI.
Yeah, and that's what was so good about Shape of Water, that it was actually it was like 90% or even more real sets, and it all looked so like lived in, looked so real, but with this like fantasy quality to it, and the fact that it did it on such a small budget is just.
When you told me about the budget, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of those sets were CGI.
They were? What?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
like you can go behind the scenes, like the whole thing with the theater and all that stuff. Like a lot of that was CGI.
Oh, but I thought
I saw was CGI as well.
Oh yeah, I knew about that. Yeah, but I saw these production sales. Oh man, I got duped. Oh, fuck this movie.
No. They enhanced it. They enhanced all of the things with CGI. Yeah, there were actual sets and stuff, but there were a lot of elements, like especially when they were outside, where they did use a lot of CGI.
Yeah, I knew about that though. Yeah, well, and that makes sense because they had to transform like the whole world into a 1950s world. So yeah. But okay, well, it still deserves it more than the other movies because it is a really beautiful movie. So and how it captured like a heightened reality version of the 1950s. Definitely deserving of the prize or the award.
Yeah, and for Blade Runner 2049, I honestly don't think it was better than the first one. Like the first one has some of the most amazing production design I've ever seen, and this movie didn't live up to that.
I'm actually a big fan of like minimalist style, the minimalist style when it comes to both like art and design like this. So I really liked it, but I mean it's nothing I hadn't seen before in movies. So yeah, I preferred Shape of Water over it, definitely. So that was a pretty clear cut one. I mean, Beauty and the Beast was pretty, but I mean, it wasn't the same thing. It just looked like, I mean, your regular run-of-the-mill Disney movie, but in real life. Darkest Hour was just a bunch of dusty rooms. Dunkirk was a beach. I don't get it. It was a beach. What?
And a boat.
Yeah, and the boats and all that. And the boats were all real and all that. And the planes were real, but
they did have to construct sets that could get flooded.
Yeah, that's true.
So that plays into it. I know that doesn't really appeal to the aesthetic, which production design usually goes to, but the fact that you make a practical set like that does take a lot of work and effort, and that's something that Christopher Nolan loves to do.
That's true, yeah, and that should be admired. But I think Shape of Water kind of married form and function more than Dunkirk did. Dunkirk was definitely more functional. So yeah, Shape of Water deserving the prize, definitely. So what's the next one? Let's see here. Where did they go? I lost them again. Damn it. No, here they are. Production design. Song, Remember Me. Oh, I'll just say Remember Me from Coco won. I don't think that song is good. It's not my favorite from the movie. Which were the other nominees for that one?
Yeah, my favorite song.
Who's going to do it? Who's going to go first?
You can go first, Red.
Okay.
Oh, my favorite song from the movie was Un Poco Loco, and I really wish that one had been nominated, but, you know, I get it. Remember Me is sweet.
Yeah, it is. But the other nominees, now I'm trying to find it. Where'd it go?
Sufjan Stevens for Call Me By Your Name. I think Mary J. Blige sang a song from Mudbound. And
Mighty River.
Yeah, and that shitty song from The Greatest Showman.
I thought that was gonna win. I really did.
Yeah, I was hoping, like, please don't.
Yeah, and I actually haven't seen any of the other movies except for Call Me by Your Name, so I have no idea. I heard a lot of like musical fans really loved The Greatest Showman, but that most other people just thought it was kind of boring. So I can see why it was nominated, but I also see why it didn't win. I don't even remember the song from Call Me by Your Name.
It's beautiful. Like,
well, yeah, I should listen to it again, but I don't really remember much music from that movie, or songs. I was kind of fixated on the relationship, or the romance, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, Coco. It's a Pixar movie. They usually don't do like musical numbers in their movies. That's more of a Disney thing, but this is technically a Disney movie as well. So yeah, I can see why it won, definitely. What was your prediction was Greatest Showman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a musical, so
I'm really glad it didn't win.
Okay. Oh, what your personal pick was Coco then?
No, my personal pick was actually Stand Up for Something from Marshall.
Oh, okay.
With Andra Day and Common.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the spoken word thing he did at the beginning. It was just really good.
And he went to my college, which is really cool. So I went to Columbia College here in Chicago, and pretty much the only celebrities that have come out of there is Jordan Vaught Roberts of Kong Skull Island, Common, and the cinematographer for Schindler's List. I forget his name at the moment.
Janusz Kaminski.
Janusz Kaminski, yeah.
And I remember his name really good because that is actually one of my favorite Oscar skits. When James Franco actually hosted Oscar, then he and Seth Rogen, they hang with Janusz Kaminski. But the funniest part is when they're baked and watch the reader and just laugh their asses off. It's still one of the funniest moments.
But that's really cool though. I mean, we don't get a lot of that here in Sweden, where we have like people like Janusz Kaminski coming from the same school as you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Who came from the same school as we came from, Tobbe? The guy that won the Atleterna, a TV show about who is the best non-professional athletic guy. Yeah. He actually went in my class.
David. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's Sweden for you. Moving on to best score. To stick to the music here. And now I actually have the nominees here. It's 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Phantom Thread, Star Wars, The Last Jedi, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water. And yeah, Shape of Water won. I really like the music.
Alexander Desplat's score is really haunting and beautiful.
Yeah, I really enjoyed some other movies he's made.
I actually thought that Hans Zimmer was going to get it for Dunkirk.
I don't know.
I actually liked the score, even though it's not one of his best scores that he's done, but it was so frenetical. It went really well with the movie.
Yes, I will say that. It really worked for the movie, but when you listen to it, like I just listened to the music without the movie a couple of weeks ago, it's not that enjoyable to just listen to. It's just a bunch of noise.
Because you're not in a plane with a fucking gas mask like Tom Hardy.
No, exactly.
Then it becomes intense, man.
But I mean, the music from The Shape of Water works on its own as music.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then I love all the other songs that they have.
Yeah.
Definitely. But my personal pick would have been Phantom Thread. I think Johnny Greenwood's score is, as I told you, there's a mixture of beautiful strings and then just scaring sounds.
Yeah. I agree. I would probably have wanted Johnny Greenwood to win for There Would Be Blood instead. I think that score is better. But out of these nominations, I would have to give it to Johnny Greenwood as well. But I can see why Shape of Water won. What was your pick, Ren?
Shape of Water.
Okay. Yeah, it's understandable.
I really like that score. I really like the score for War for the Planet of the Apes. I wish that had been nominated, but out of the nominees, The Shape of Water was my favorite and one of my favorites of the year. I really like how Alexander Desplat emulated what music sounds like underwater.
Yeah. Yes. He definitely captured that. And he had he added like these kind of like he had an accordion, which you don't hear very often in movie scores, and he used it very, very well, I think. Just a funny thing though, if we're going to talk about music and accordions. I don't know how much you've listened to the score for Killing of a Sacred Deer, but they used some really like strange accordion songs where they're like barely making any like sounds. They're almost like only recording the actual instrument moving more than the actual sound it's making. I just came to think about that when I said accordion. So I mean I wouldn't have nominated for best like score or anything, but if you want to listen to a really weird soundtrack with a lot of accordion in it, check out Killing of a Sacred Deer. That's a movie that I thought got snubbed for a couple of awards.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Anyway, I digress, I suppose. Can't really say much about the music in Three Billboards. Don't really remember it. Star Wars, the only parts you remember from that score is the Star Wars like themes that's been around for like 40 years. So I can see why it didn't win.
Luke's theme was pretty interesting, but like that's the only thing I really drew from that movie.
Yeah. The rest was basically recycled. At least the good parts were recycled. It was the one you remembered. So yeah, and Dunkirk, great for the movie, did not work as music really.
Right.
So let's see, what's the next one? Documentary short. Yeah.
It went to Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405.
Oh yeah, exactly. I know you watch. You didn't. You saw all of them, right?
Yeah, I saw all the shorts.
Yeah. What did you think of the nominees for that one? Because I didn't manage to catch any of them.
I actually liked all of them except Edith and Eddie. I had some issues with. I actually thought it was going to win. I'm glad Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405 one. I think that's a really sweet documentary about an artist with severe depression.
Oh, okay.
And she's on the spectrum for autism, it appears, but I don't know if it's the depression that's actually doing that. I might have to watch it again to like pick up on that. My favorite was Traffic Stop, which is about police brutality, something that here in the United States is a major issue. Yeah. And Heroin was also a really spectacular documentary about people who save lives of people who have heroin overdoses.
Oh, I think I actually saw that. I think it's on Netflix here in Sweden.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
That was a really good one actually, but that's the only one I saw. So yeah, I would give it to that one, I suppose.
Knife Skills, Heaven is a Traffic Jam on the 405, and Edith and Eddie are all on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I gotta check that out then. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard. I mean, the only time you can really catch like shorts here in Sweden at least is on like the Stockholm Film Festival. But then sometimes they show some shorts, but other than that, it's really hard to find shorts in Sweden. But yeah, if they're on YouTube, of course, you can check them out there. That's good, because sometimes I don't know. I've seen a few shorts, documentary shorts, and live action shorts. They can be really interesting how they use the like short format really. So they should I should try to watch more of those.
Yeah, especially the winner. The winner's really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to check that out. After that, it's best live action short, I think. Yes, and now I have the nominees again. It was Watu Wote, My Nephew Emmett, The 11 O'Clock, Day Cobb Elementary, and The Silent Child. And The Silent Child won. What was your pick, Ren?
My pick was Watu Wote. I think it's one of the best films of the year, not just one of the best shorts.
Okay.
It's incredibly powerful. I don't know how it's going to be available, but whenever I find it available online outside of the Amazon 2-pack, I'll place it everywhere.
Okay.
Because the 2-pack comes with the live action shorts and the animated shorts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But The Silent Child, the winner, what was that about?
That was about a deaf child who they hire somebody to teach her sign language, but the parents really want her to read lips. So it's sort of a film about bad parenting, not too dissimilar to Russia's Loveless.
Okay.
In certain segments. And that one was from the UK. And Watu Wote was actually from Germany, but it was made by a Kenyan German filmmaker.
Well, that's kind of interesting. I just thought of that now. That when it comes to the feature-length movies, they have like best movie and they have best foreign language movie. But when it comes to the short to the short films, they kind of mix them all together. I mean, they like you said, they were German, they were British. I think some of them are American, right?
2 of them are American.
Yeah,
My Nephew Emmett and DeKalb Elementary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So I mean, I wonder why they don't like. I guess there would be too many categories, but like why they make that distinction when it comes to feature length and not the short films.
I guess because nobody watches them.
Yeah, I suppose that would make sense. Just I haven't seen them, so. Let's move on to best animated short, where we have Revolting Rhymes Part 1, Lou, Negative Space, Garden Party, and Dear Basketball. And I actually remember this one. You talked about you were not hoping.
Bryant!
Yeah, you weren't hoping for Dear Basketball, but you thought it would win or something like that.
Yeah, I thought the whole fact that Kobe Bryant is retiring this year and all that kind of stuff would possibly make it win. But my ultimate prediction was Garden Party. That being said, Kobe Bryant was actually accused of sexual assault, and there's like a case for it. I thought with Me Too, they wouldn't do that. They took out James Franco and they took out Casey Affleck, but apparently somebody who's accused of that can still win an Oscar.
Yeah, well, I always, even when it comes to stuff like that, I always try to separate like the artist from the art, I suppose. But yeah, it is weird. It is weird in this political climate that they would pick, especially as the winner. And even I haven't seen these either. I've seen some of Garden Party, and I thought Garden Party looked really good. I probably would have I would have picked that one over Dear Basketball.
I'll send you a link on YouTube. It's really, really great.
Okay, yeah, oh, definitely. And like I don't know, I just looking at them though, Revolting Rhymes Part 1 looks like a kids show. Is that really a movie?
It's split up into 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's 30 minutes in one part and 30 minutes in the other part, but only one of them got nominated. It's essentially a short film on a technicality.
Yeah, because that sounds like a feature length cut up.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, it didn't work. So
Right.
balls to you. After that, we have editing. No. Yes, yes, film editing. And let's see if I can find the nominees. Well, the winner at least was Dunkirk, and I couldn't think of a better winner for that one. Dunkirk is beautifully edited, and it was. Oh, here, yeah, it was going up against Baby Driver, Shape of Water, I, Tonya, and Three Billboards. And I haven't seen I, Tonya, but just going up against the other ones, Dunkirk is a clear winner for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because he does this a lot. He does this in almost every movie. But the way he like manipulates time to make those three, I suppose, three separate stories work together. I don't know, man. It's such a thing to watch. How he makes it work. And just how he like in general cuts everything together. Well, not he, Lee Smith did, but I'm talking about Nolan. I could have seen Baby Driver win, but Three Billboards and Shape of Water were fine.
There was nothing remarkable.
No, A Shape of Water was pretty good, but Three Billboards,
nothing special there.
Not really. Not
but the
with
editing in Dunkirk is.
Yeah,
Yeah, you get blown away by it.
Yes, I can definitely see why it won. It's good to see Baby Driver being nominated though, because it's not a movie you usually see getting nominated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a plus. But yeah, you've seen I, Tonya, Ren. What did you think of the editing in that one?
I thought the editing in I, Tonya was really great. I think the cinematography stands out a little bit more. But there are a lot of interesting techniques that they do with the editing because they're constantly breaking the fourth wall in the film. So there's a change of frame size, and you'll have an actor say something and do something, and then it will cut to them again, and they'll say, "This didn't really happen."
Oh,
so yeah, it is interesting and fun, and I do think that there are very significant achievements in the film for editing. I just think Dunkirk is the clear winner. And going back and watching certain segments, even more so than the cinematography, I think the editing really stands out in Dunkirk.
Yes, I agree completely. So let's see what's after that. Visual effects. That's another one. I went visual effects. Let's see if I can find it. Well, you're shaking your head. Yeah, we can say it went to Blade Runner 2049. It was going
because
up against it went up against Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Kong, Skull Island, Star Wars, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, and just I hadn't even watched the nominees here now. Looking at it, why the hell didn't War for the Planet of the Apes win?
The only reason that I can see is because Blade Runner 2049 is pretty. And War for the Planet of the Apes doesn't really draw attention to its special effects. Like, it really doesn't. It just tells a compelling story with special effects instead of, hey, look at the bright, flashy, lights and all that kind of stuff. And Blade Runner 2049 did that, so it won. So that's what I come out of watching that. Honestly, I think Guardians of the Galaxy had more impressive sci-fi special effects than Blade Runner 2049, but that's me.
No, yeah, I can see that point. Because it's definitely more like imaginative when it comes to its sci-fi settings and all that. But like you said about War for the Planet of the Apes, it used visual effects the way you should use them. It should enhance the movie, but never take center stage. And like all three of those movies are like the visual effects are so good, especially how they created all the apes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. that could have been a win for basically the entire trilogy. I don't know if that's the right reason to win the award, but because I think I prefer the effects in Dawn. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I saw it. But out of these nominees, yeah, definitely War for the Planet of the Apes. That was no.
I love Blade Runner, but the effects were nothing special. Nothing that blew me away.
No, they were good.
The rendering for Rachel was actually really impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll agree to that. That looked very convincing. If you compare it to like what's he called, Peter Cushing in last year, Rogue One, or Superman's CGI lip in this year's Justice League. Or last year's Justice League. But the clear winner here for me would have been War for the Planet of the Apes, definitely. So I don't know. They definitely shit the bed on that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Well, let's just move on then. I don't want to think about it anymore. Animated feature. This was a really weird one last year. I don't know who the nominees were this year.
Boss Baby.
Oh yeah, Boss Baby. That's
Boss
right.
Baby, Coco, Loving Vincent. I still haven't seen. I really want to see it. It looks pretty beautiful.
Yeah,
it was my 5th favorite film of the entire year.
Yeah, it's just one of those like, oh, I'm gonna go see it next week. I'm gonna go see it next week, but never happened. Yeah, the other nominees were Breadwinner and Ferdinand. Coco.
Ferdinand wasn't anything special.
You saw it?
Half of it. I saw.
Yeah, actually, I did,
yeah.
And it was.
Oh my god. The only one of these I did see was Coco. It was really good. It was better than I expected. But I don't know. Well, yeah. So out of these, yeah, I would say Coco. But you saw them all, right, Ren?
I saw 4.5. I'm halfway through Ferdinand right now.
You didn't like it?
Well, with 2 of the films, we had to watch it in segments because it's just too much. We actually, my co-host Casey and I, watched The Boss Baby in very little segments. that movie is something else. I'll tell you that. But out of the picks, I actually really like Loving Vincent, and I think on just the technique of hand painting 63,000 frames to make a movie is something that deserves to be recognized. And the movie got very little screens. Like, it wasn't showing in a lot of theaters, and not a lot of people heard of it. And it just broke my heart every time hearing that, because I think it paints a beautiful literally, of Vincent van Gogh's life, and trying to understand the enigma of who he is. And yeah, the visuals are gorgeous. And if you see it on a really big screen, you can almost, touch the text. The texture is so rich, and you could literally just go up to the screen and want to feel it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's what drew me to it. I thought it was really cool that they actually, they painted each frame like as an oil painting. But yeah, it didn't really. I think it played in like one cinema or one theater here in at least in Stockholm. I don't know about other cities.
I blame the producers.
Okay. For any specific reason?
Because a really good producer would have gotten it out in more screens.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and if it is as good as you say, it does deserve to be seen by more people. But I guess a lot of people, like, as soon as they hear animated, they think kids movie. That is obviously not a kids movie, but I can see why some people would like. I don't want to see that. It sounds like a kids movie, just because they hear that it's animated. And that's what happens to a lot of like good animated movies that are made for both like children and adults. unfortunately.
I'm really mad that Lego Batman was snubbed, and Your Name from Japan was snubbed as well.
Or A Silent Voice.
Yes. I didn't see that
Silent
one.
Oh, you gotta see Silent Voice, because they came actually out the same weekend in Japan. Your Name and Silent Voice. So that was emotional roller coaster weekend in Japan.
Oh wow!
Because Your Name, the twist in that movie, I thought I was dreaming it. I was like, did that really happen? Oh gosh, you gotta see it, Tobias.
Yeah. I know which one it is. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it actually played in theaters here, which doesn't happen a lot with Japanese.
Oh, they actually showed the Silent Voice at Bio Rio in.
Oh, of course.
In hipster part of Stockholm.
Yeah,
that's where they show all the good movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it definitely shows those kind of movies. But Coco was good, I suppose. But I mean, not even having seen it, I think Loving Vincent it should have won. From what I understand, so that's a snub, I suppose. After that, then it's a foreign language film, and we talked a little bit about that. So the nominees were, well, it was a Fantastic Woman, Loveless. Which were the other ones?
There was a movie from Hungary and Lebanon.
The movie from Hungary was On Body and Soul. And the movie from Lebanon was The Insult, and the movie from Sweden was The Square.
Oh, let's talk about say it, Tobias. You think The Square got snubbed, right?
I actually haven't seen it.
As a Chilean, I'm so glad Chile won its first Oscar ever.
Yeah, well, that
should have won actually for No, that Pablo Larraín was nominated for 3 years ago, which was about the referendum to vote out Pinochet from power. Well, Gael Garcia Bernal is an advertisement agent.
Yeah, you've talked about that one.
But I love Pablo Larraín. He's one of my favorite directors till he made Jackie, and he wasn't as good.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen any of the foreign language nominees. I intentionally skipped The Square once again for like a stupid reason, because I didn't like his last movie, Force Majeure, right?
Force Majeure is better than The Square, I think.
It is? Oh, okay.
I like Force Majeure more than The Square. But I still believe, and now I sound like a pretentious hipster, but I think his debut movie, The Guitar Mongoloid, is the best movie he has done. The scene where he has a lot of kids at a gym hall playing floorball, and then suddenly they're hiling towards the wall, and one of the kids is black. It is such a hilarious scene. And the scene where they take bikes and throw it down the lake.
Yeah. Of the ones I've seen of him, I prefer that one as well. It's really good.
But he makes good movies, but
did you?
I have been tired of his style. The Square was good, but it was not a masterpiece.
Oh, okay. What did you think, Ren?
I enjoyed it a lot. One of the things that I've been wanting to see people criticize in movies is this relentless PC culture that's kind of been present for a lot of stuff. And there's a scene where they're trying to respect and admire somebody with Tourette's in the audience who's saying like very profane stuff. And, they're just like, we're going to ignore it. And we're going to listen to the speaker. And he's like, he's just saying like, fuck you, show us your tits, over and over again. And it's like, clearly this guy is just playing up his Tourette's and not actually just impulsively saying that. Like, I find that very hard to believe.
But that is Sweden for you. That whole scene describes Sweden. That's what I love with Ruben Östlund. He can describe the cowardness that do exist in the Swedish culture, because you don't want to take conflicts, because if you take a conflict, then you will be labeled. For example, here in Sweden, we have a lot of discussion about migration, but if you're critical about it, just a bit critical, saying that, for example, I'm just going to say, I think the integration could work better. Remember, I'm a Chilean. I would be called racist. And I'm a flippin' Chilean. And I get called racist because I say, you know what? Integration doesn't work. And we have an extreme polarizing PC culture that is very difficult to respect.
Even among liberals, like liberals fighting with other liberals about like what's politically correct or not.
Yeah, and that's the thing that actually interested me about the movie, because I barely knew what it was about until I watched your video about it. So yeah, and because I too agree that the PC culture is definitely like it's kind of taking over, and it's nice to see like a good movie, if you will, like saying something about it. So yeah, that's two movies that I really want to see now after having heard about them, Loveless and The Square. But A Fantastic Woman, it's just like now being released in Sweden, so I haven't even had a chance.
I saw it last week, and it is really, really good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
I'm glad that it won, but it is thousands of other Chilean movies that should have been nominated ages ago. I think, for example, Pablo Larraín's The Club, which is about 5 priests. There have been, because you can't fire priests in Chile. You transfer them. So these 5 priests are transferred to a deserted coastal town in south of Chile, and one of them has kidnapped children from communists to give to fascist families. Another one has molested kids, and Pablo Larraín can make really gut-wrenching moral dilemmas. He has a certain way of making movies. I've spoken to you about one of his debut movies called Tony Manero, which is about a guy that he's obsessed with Tony Manero from Saturday Night Fever. And during the Pinochet era. That is a fantastic movie. But A Fantastic Woman is good because it is a movie about being transgender in a super conservative country. Chile may have had a half socialist government for 6-7 years, but it's very conservative. The Catholic Church still has a lot of power. Abortion is still illegal. Marriage between same sex is still not legal. So I think this movie is a good way of trying to create the discussion in Chile.
Yeah, it sounds like the kind of movie that would win this year. And if you add to that it's really good, I understand why it won.
Yeah, and I like the fact that they actually used a trans actress instead of just getting a man to play a woman.
Yeah, they do that sometimes, and like I understand like a few years ago maybe, but now you don't really have to anymore. So it makes sense why you would use a trans actress.
Yeah, it gives validity.
Yeah. But
I really want to see Loveless. That.
Oh yeah, yes.
When I saw just the sequences during the Oscar, I thought I got to see this movie.
Yeah, it looks like it's right up my alley for some twisted reason.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be up your alley. I know it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
you still haven't seen Leviathan, Tobias. You got to see Leviathan.
No. Yeah, well, now I know that it's the same director. I'm going to watch both of them.
We were talking. It's a movie that you always want to see, but you just postpone it. Till one day, you just suddenly find it on some streaming service. I think it's on Draken Film in Sweden.
Okay. Well,
that is the streaming site that costs like 79 kroner, and it has tons of Swedish movies. It has all the Roy Andersson. Ren, if you like Ruben Östlund, the Square director, you should look up the Swedish director Roy Andersson. He has a very certain style. He can if you want to talk the Swedish culture.
Yeah, Swedish angst.
He's the king of it.
That is something special. But let's move on to best adapted screenplay. And the nominees were The Disaster Artist, Molly's Game, Call Me by Your Name, Logan, and Mudbound. and the winner was Call Me by Your Name. And I haven't read the book, so I don't know. I mean, I thought the script was good, but
The
I
book
don't
is
know.
apparently more explicit. I heard.
Oh yeah, I would imagine.
So much more explicit in the. Has everyone seen it? Obviously.
Yeah, I have.
Yes.
Okay. The peach scene is so much more explicit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, books can get away with that in a way that movies can't.
But when it comes to adapted screenplay, I must say that Call Me by Your Name is the winner. The dialogue that James Ivory has adapted is so great. Not only the speech that Michael Stuhlbarg has at the end, but just the dynamic between Arnie Hammer and Timothée Chalamet's characters.
That's what makes the movie.
It never borders on being too pretentious. It just feels right when you say it. It's just perfect feelings.
Yeah.
When the dialogue comes.
What's that?
I am a sucker for Aaron Sorkin. It would have been fun to see Molly's Game, but Molly's Game is one of the weaker Aaron Sorkin scripts. Even though I like what I like from Molly's Game is that apparently the douchebag actor is apparently based on Tobey Maguire. That's supposedly to be like a super douche according to the book.
I don't know.
But I'm glad that Logan didn't win. I don't know why the heck was there. It is a. Do you have any theories, Ren? Why was Logan nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay?
Because it was a good screenplay. And I was actually really happy because it's now finally we have a comic book movie get legitimacy in the at the Oscars. I mean, we did have that with A History of Violence like a while back.
Oh yeah.
And I think that movie is a lot better than the comic it's based on. But Logan just tells. I really think it tells a really personal and beautiful story, and I think that the relationship with both Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart is really powerful, but also him and Daphne Keane. And I think for that reason, and the conversations that they have with each other really elevated the film as something a lot more than just your typical run-of-the-mill superhero movie.
Sure. I agree to some extent. I have an inherent bias when it comes to all comic book movies, but yeah, even I have to admit that it was definitely a step above most comic book movies. Even going so far as to call just calling it a movie, I would say. Out of the other ones, I've only seen The Disaster Artist. And I didn't really enjoy the script in that one. I felt it kind of meandered. I thought the second act was way too long.
They take away so many great parts from the book as well.
Yeah,
it wasn't that well adapted.
Yeah, I heavily recommend you check out the book. Listen to it on audiobook because the impressions that Greg Sestero does of Tommy Wiseau are legitimately hilarious.
Oh, okay. Well, I got to do that then. So he actually reads the book.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. I've only read parts of it.
I'm totally gonna look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fantastic, and yeah, there's so much more about Tommy Wiseau in the book that they left out, and the conflict that the two have. Like, the screenplay writes itself, and instead it was just James Franco riffing on Tommy Wiseau the whole movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought was like the biggest miss in that one. Like, they should have focused like almost the entire movie on their relationship, because that is what is ultimately the most interesting part about the book, and just about them as characters or as people. And those are the best parts in the movie, but they get kind of pushed aside when they actually come to the production of The Room. Those bits are pretty boring, actually.
Yeah, I really liked your review on that, by the way.
Okay, well, thank you. So yeah, out of the ones I saw, I prefer. I'm glad that Call Me by Your Name won, because it's definitely. I thought the movie, it kind of sort of for me at least fell apart when it came to pacing. But the dialogue and the acting performances were amazing in that movie. So that it's win for best adapted screenplay makes a lot of sense. So moving on to the original screenplay, we have the nominees were Three Billboards, Shape of Water, Big Sick, Lady Bird, and Get Out. And the winner was Get Out. I don't know.
It was five good screenplays nominated, I must say.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of
But-
the categories that I can't disagree with any of them being nominated.
For me, I suppose the weakest one was the Big Sick. But it was still good. But I don't know if it deserved a nomination. I don't know. For me at least, it fell a little bit flat. If you put it up against the other nominations, at least. I don't know. I could have seen, out of the nominations, I could have seen Lady Bird winning. I really liked Lady Bird when it came to the writing. I liked it about everything, but especially
the
writing.
dialogue is really good in Lady Bird.
Yeah. But I can also see why Get Out won. Because it really married a really good horror script with something that is kind of politically poignant, I suppose.
Most important, subtle political.
Yes.
Criticism. It
subtle in
didn't
a way.
bullhorn. It didn't bullhorn the political criticism, and that's why I love with Get Out.
Yeah.
It masked so great.
Yeah.
Because tons of the kids at school have seen Get Out, and they're like, it's a really great horror movie, but who is the monster? I'm like, you gotta see it again. You gotta.
It's the white people.
I still think it's funny that Jordan Peele, from being the script doctor, from the script doctor scene to Get Out. Have you seen that scene in Key and Peele? When he said they're doing a Gremlins 2 pitch meeting, and he comes in as a script doctor, like, so what do you want? A female gremlin? Oh, you want a gremlin with a JJ? That'd be good. And
guess what? It's in the movie.
Yeah, it's all in the movie because Keegan says, "Oh no, none of these gremlins are coming in the movie." That is actually one of my favorite sketches. That one and the I heard you murder this guy. I have you on the mixtape.
Oh yeah, the confessional.
That is a hilarious sketch.
And that, what did you think about? What was your pick for the winner, Ren?
Oh, Get Out.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I do think it's a little derivative of the Stepford Wives. It's the Black Lives Matter Stepford Wives.
Yeah,
good description.
But I think the film was really good and powerful. However, I actually lost a friend by having an argument about this movie.
Oh. Well, can we ask what it was about? I mean, more specifically.
Well, getting into the whole like PC culture and all that kind of stuff, I said that Get Out was a black comedy, and a really sharp one at that. And black comedy can be serious and still be, and have comedic elements and all that kind of stuff. Like, look at Todd Solondz or something like that. So I made that argument, and they were like, "No, it's a horror movie, and that's all I will accept."
Okay, well, yeah, I'm not gonna get into that argument, but I agree with you, and it's definitely I would say it's a horror comedy or a black comedy, because I laughed a lot as well as being kind of creeped out, so it makes sense, and it is, and that's what's kind of good about it, that he manages to mix these things like comedy, horror, and this like political undertones. But by masking it with really good horror and comedy, it's a lot easier to take in without it feeling like preachy. So I think it was a great screenplay. you don't. At least I didn't really think about it at first, but the more you thought about it, it makes a lot of sense that it wins. Even if it is a kind of it's a small story, and it's kind of grounded, but it is very clever when it comes to the writing. So definitely the right winner, I would say. But Lady Bird could have won as well, I suppose. After that, we have supporting actress, and let's see here if I can find them here. That was Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Octavia Spencer for Shape of Water, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Allison Janney for I, Tonya. The only one I haven't seen here, well, I didn't see I, Tonya, I didn't see Mudbound. Out of the ones I saw, I think it was I have a hard time picking, but Leslie Manville or Laurie Metcalf, I would say. But I heard a lot of good stuff about Allison Janney and I, Tonya, and you've seen it, Bren. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought Allison Janney was the clear winner.
Okay.
You know, it is one of those performances that's loud, and the Oscars like that. But I thought she portrayed the role very realistically. She is a monster, but there's also a side of her that loves Tonya Harding. And I think that balance is what really worked. That being said, I actually wasn't sure which one I was going to choose. Like, I was really, I wasn't sure if it was going to be Laurie Metcalf or Allison Janney, because I think that both of those performances are absolutely fantastic, and they're both mothers. So I was like, you know, which mother are we going with? The horrible mother or the mother that's trying so hard to be good, but, you know, failing at certain aspects?
Yeah, and just me thinking about it now, Laurie Metcalf would probably, for me at least, I haven't seen I, Tonya, but that would be my pick. That was an amazing performance, and I on like a personal level almost, because I really saw a lot of not everything, but I saw a lot of my mother in her. She really felt like she really like captured that struggling mother kind of character. And I mean, I haven't seen Laurie Metcalf in the movie in like a long time, so it was kind of, I instantly recognized her. It was like fun to see her in a movie, and just to see that performance, it was something else. My runner-up would be Leslie Manville, because like Allison Janney, she played a monster, but kind of like a quiet monster.
I think the dynamic between Leslie Manville and Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread is so great. It's true that bitterness you can have with your siblings sometimes. It was very well executed. She was my personal favorite, but I'm a sucker for Allison Janney. I haven't seen I, Tonya, but I love Allison Janney, especially because I'm a huge fan of West Wing when it went on television. She was like everybody wants CJ Craig as a press secretary for real.
And Octavia Spencer in The Shape of Water was, I think she was good, but it wasn't anything special. And I say that in my review as well. I think she was good, but that's about it. And I haven't seen Mudbound. What did you think of Mary J. Blige in Mudbound, Ren?
It was forgettable.
Oh, okay.
She got nominated because she's Mary J. Blige.
Oh, okay.
Because they probably thought, well, if Monique could have gotten an Oscar, maybe Mary J. Blige could.
Hey, but Monique was good.
Oh, Monique was cool.
Push? No.
No.
No. Precious, based on the novel.
Oh, sorry.
Sapphire.
Okay, that's right. Precious. Exactly. She was good, so that's why she got nominated. But yeah, like I said, I haven't seen Mudbound. I think that's on Netflix, though. I should check that out.
It's rough.
It looks rough from what I've seen from trailers. But
I don't mean like rough, like in like sad. I mean like it's a hard slog to get through.
Oh, it is. You didn't like it?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, then I gotta check it out.
It's going on with the whole like Terrence Malick stuff. Like, imagine if Terrence Malick gave everybody a voiceover in the movie.
Oh.
Like, I know he gives a lot of characters a voiceover, but imagine if they like sectioned off different characters throughout the beginning of the movie. And there's a really fascinating friendship that's made in the movie that I wish the movie focused more on. And instead, they're just batting back between people that don't really matter that much to the story.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I won't check it out then. Let's move on to best performance by an actor in supporting role. The nominees were Woody Harrelson for 3 Billboards, Richard Jenkins for The Shape of Water, Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards, Christopher Plummer for All the Money in the World, and Willem Dafoe for The Florida Project. Yeah, and there's a note here. Yeah, Christopher Plummer is the oldest Oscar nominee ever at 88. Okay, acting Oscar nomination.
I love the fact that he was nominated as a fuck you to Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, it feels like that. From what I haven't seen the movie. I was gonna see the movie, but it never happened. I've seen some what do you call it? They were comparing like Kevin Spacey scenes from the trailer with Christopher Plummer scenes in the trailer. I don't know. I understand that he didn't have a lot of time to prepare for the part, but he looks very uninterested throughout the entire movie. Christopher Plummer does.
Well, that's sort of the character of John Paul Getty.
Okay.
Like, it works for the movie.
Okay. But yeah, I haven't seen it, but from what I saw, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably more a fuck you than his actual performance, I suppose.
Just as a side note, they're actually making a TV show about the exact same case, and it's called Trust. And Danny Boyle is going to be directing it.
Oh, okay. Well, that might be interesting.
Who's playing John Paul Getty?
The guy from Don't Look Now. Donald Sutherland.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like, based on the trailer, it looks significantly better than the movie.
Okay. Yeah. I over the last like 10 years almost, I kind of lost my faith in Ridley Scott as a director. And that's kind of why I put off watching the movie for a while, and then it just, I kind of forgot about it. But from what I've heard, it's just, it's fine, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know if you said that. The winner was Sam Rockwell, which I believe was the right choice. Either that or Woody Harrelson. They were both amazing in 3 Billboards.
I liked Woody Harrelson actually a bit more in 3 Billboards.
I don't know, man. It's a tough choice between those two. What was your personal pick, Ren?
Oh, it was 100% Sam Rockwell.
Okay,
yeah. It was a great performance. I think it gives humanity to an awful person, something that we need to see more in movies, that even if you're a bad person, you can still do the right thing and redeem yourself.
I agree. And I know there's even been like people like calling them out for giving, you gave an award to a bad guy, but no, they're giving the award to an actor playing a bad guy.
Yeah.
You got to be able to separate that, because he's a terrible person. But the performance is amazing.
Yeah, it's the reason why Ray Fiennes and Michael Fassbender didn't win for their respective roles.
Yeah, and that's weird. I mean, you can't say that, this character is a bad guy, so we can't give the actor an award. That's dumb.
But
I agree.
In Oscar history, a lot of bad guys have won Oscars. Hannibal Lecter, Vito Corleone.
But you're talking about people like bad guys that are likable. Dislikable bad guys are usually never get those Oscar.
No, exactly. Although I gotta say, I think at least towards the end, or like from the middle to the end, I thought he was kind of likable. It was like a redemption story almost, even though he doesn't properly redeem himself, I suppose. I found him to like he was becoming likable towards the end, so I can see that's maybe why it was easier for them to give him the award.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Like, even though, yeah, I think Sam Rockwell was the right choice, I would maybe wanted to see Willem Dafoe win as well, because I thought his performance in the Florida Project was like, yeah, it was his best. At least that I've ever seen from him. But I guess that because I like the movie so much as well. So,
have you seen Last Temptation of Christ?
I haven't seen Last Temptation of Christ.
William Dafoe speaking as Jesus with a Brooklyn accent. I
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah.
We ain't having no British accents. We're speaking in Brooklyn.
Well, okay. So you're saying that's a better performance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
speaking of Scorsese, a character that's won an Oscar and it's a totally unlikable character. Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull.
Yeah.
He's a douchebag the whole way.
He is
not likable at fucking all.
Yeah.
He is horrible.
You're
Donnie,
breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, your voice is kind of roboting.
What the hell?
If you just try to just jump out of the stream and then jump in again, that usually helps.
All right. Is it still jumping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So just try to just leave the stream and come back. That usually helps. There he goes. Well, yeah, and then Richard Jenkins. He was probably my favorite performance in The Shape of Water, but up against the other guys, no, he didn't stand a chance. I would say. I don't know about Christopher Plummer, but the other guys.
I gotta say, Michael Stuhlbarg was snubbed from 2 movies.
Really? 2?
Nope, sorry, 3.
Okay. Well, I know Call Me by Your Name.
He was in Call Me by Your Name, The Post, and he was also in The Shape of Water, and I liked him in all 3 of those movies.
Right. Yes. Oh, he was really good in Shape of Water.
Michael Stuhlbarg always gets snubbed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna say I think that Michael Stuhlbarg is probably the best actor in the Steve Jobs movie. Even though that Michael Fassbender is really good, but Stuhlbarg is fantastic as that Andy Hertzfeld guy that really just still tries to take a verbal fight with him, even though that Steve Jobs is a huge asshole.
Yeah. About him in Call Me by Your Name, though, I think that has to do with the fact that he's not really in the movie that much.
Right.
I know, like, Michael Shannon won for a 9-minute performance in Revolutionary Road, but in the case of Michael Stuhlbarg, I think he's really, really good in Call Me by Your Name. But I think the only like standout like scene for him in that movie is that ending speech, and I'm not sure that's enough to nominate him for. But that's what made the movie for me. That scene
is
speech,
amazing.
Yeah, and the ending when he just stares into the fire. That was pretty powerful. So
that's one of the best shots in the entire year.
Of
2017.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, because like I said, I wasn't completely floored by that movie until those 2 scenes, because they come almost like after each other. Like that last like 15 minutes of the movie is just amazing, and it really, really like ties the movie together, at least for me. So yeah, maybe in a perfect world he would have been nominated, but I still think Sam Rockwell should have won.
Yeah.
And I would have nominated as well the young kid from Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh, he was so good.
Oh, he scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, he was fucking creepy.
Nobody eats spaghetti like that.
No. Oh my god. That entire movie is so creepy, and Yeah.
What was it? Who? My older. I think no, it was not my older brother. A friend of mine. He said that if Jake Gyllenhaal's character from Nightcrawler would have a son, it would be that kid.
Yeah.
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 If we're gonna speak about Oscar snubs, let's not get started.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was so angry.
Yeah, that is a weird one. I presume you've seen Nightcrawler, Aren?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that was a big snub. He definitely deserved a nomination for that one.
I wasn't impressed by his latest film, though.
Which
The one
which
where
was
he's
that?
on a wheelchair?
Oh no! Sorry, I got two directors mixed up. No, I did like Roman J. Israel Esquire. I think that was a really good movie, and we'll talk about it later.
No, I was thinking about Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in Nightcrawler.
Yeah, true. That was my favorite performance of the entire year.
Yeah. So that's a weird snub.
The stuff he did with his eyes in that movie, I like. He's one of those actors that can actually truly change into a different role, so much to the point where he's unrecognizable, because like I didn't see Jake Gyllenhaal at all in that movie.
No, not in that one. That was one of the better performances like this decade, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, well, it was snubbed, definitely snubbed. But let's move on to best performance by an actress in a leading role. And then we have Frances McDormand for 3 Billboards, Meryl Streep for The Post for some reason, Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya, and Sally Hawkins for The Shape of Water. And Frances McDormand won. And she deserved to win for that performance.
There was nobody that could
Not
really threaten her. She was leagues over everyone else.
I suppose. I really like Saoirse Ronan in Lady Bird, as Lady Bird, and like I might have picked her, but that's because I wasn't super happy with 3 Billboards as a movie. But Frances McDormand, yeah, she definitely she acts her heart out in that movie, so that is definitely deserving of that prize award. Sally Hawkins is really good in Shape of Water. But I mean, not my favorite performance by her. I mentioned that in my review as well.
And Holly Hunter gave a better silent performance in The Piano.
Oh, it's been so long since I
saw it. And
she
didn't need
I'll agree with you
for it.
Yeah. Haven't seen I, Tonya. I do like Margot Robbie though. I think she has a lot of potential, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Coming out in a few weeks, I think.
No, I always admired the story of Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, because I remembered when it happened, the whole Olympics thing. Because I was like, "What is Nancy Kerrigan?" Because somebody hit her with a pipe. What?
Yeah,
and I thought Tonya Harding was gonna win the whole Olympics because that's what the hype was about, and Nancy Kerrigan comes in second place.
And props up for the United States actually getting their first triple this year. Yeah, one of our ice skaters gave a triple this year, and Tonya Harding would have been the first one if she had gone to the Olympics.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about Meryl Streep in The Post. Because I don't know.
It's Meryl Streep doing Meryl Streep.
Yes, she's doing
it's stable. It's stable. It's nothing special, but she got nominated because she's flipping Meryl Streep.
Yeah, and that's so weird.
Okay, like let's get into The Post because, like, okay, so her character does the least amount of work for the Pentagon Papers. Like, it's insane that this is a female, idol apparently in the movie, and she attends dinner parties and approves of something over a phone call, and they have that moment where the women are all looking at her and idolizing her, and I'm just like, what about the women who actually worked on the project? You could have pumped them up, because technically speaking, the men were the people that actually did the work in this one. It wasn't.
Yeah.
No, I know. It feels like they kind of skewed that narrative to make it about a strong.
It's Amy Pascal, so of course.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I understand. I mean, there was a lot of. I mean, ultimately, it was her responsibility. So I understand why there was a lot of pressure on her. But in the movie, she's barely in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, she got nominated because she's Meryl Streep, and she got it. This has got to be like an in joke, like at this point. Oh, Meryl Streep is in a movie. We got to nominate her.
And I would have taken her out and put Vicky Creeps in.
Oh yeah, definitely. She was amazing. Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, this has happened before, like Into the Woods. She was nominated for Into the Woods. Why? I mean, yeah, we can all agree Meryl Streep is a good actress, but she's not that good.
No, Into the Woods was a pretty... I'm just going to say, it was a bad movie. I did not like it at all.
I don't know.
Nothing got me interested in it.
No.
I really disliked it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess we can all agree though that Frances McDormand definitely deserved the win. And my personal runner-up would have been Saoirse Ronan. But yeah, not a lot of discussion there though. She's a very clear winner.
Yeah.
So let's see, best performance by an actor in leading role. And here we have Timothée Chalamet for Call Me by Your Name, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, and Denzel Washington for Roman J. Israel Esquire. And Gary Oldman won. This is not a very clear winner for me.
No. And he won for, as we say in Swedish, lång och trogen tjänst. I can't even remember how it's in English.
Yeah, it was sort of like with Scorsese.
Roger Deakins.
And Roger Deakins. It was his time to win.
Okay, now it's your time.
Yeah. So
Gary
definitely
Oldman,
not his best.
We can talk about an actor that's been snubbed. That guy, he's a chameleon of an actor.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Gary Oldman deserves...
Daniel Day-Lewis is the method actor, but Gary Oldman is the flipping chameleon. He was Beethoven. He was Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, but this was not the right movie for him to win for, I think.
Right.
I actually think he's good in that movie, but it didn't interesting.
No, sure, he's good, but I mean, it's nothing special. A lot, the makeup does a lot of the acting, I would say. I would, yeah, personally, yeah, you guessed it. I would have given it to Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Because
he clearly gives the best performance.
Yeah, I haven't seen Roman J. Israel, but Denzel Washington is a good actor, I suppose. You've seen that one?
Yeah. So Roman J. Israel Esquire definitely was a great performance by Denzel Washington, mainly because Denzel Washington is not in the movie. It doesn't feel he's not doing his normal stick. He has different mannerisms. He really put in a very distinct performance, kind of a slubby guy that works for social justice causes, but is a bit of a hypocrite himself. And the movie kind of expands on that. And I think it's a really fascinating movie. I wish more people saw it because it is a lot better than people just seeing trailers or just hearing the name would assume.
Okay.
You mentioned Nightcrawler before. It's the same director. So that alone should be the reason why you see it.
Well, yeah, then I should check it out. Yeah, because what little I've seen of his performance in clips and trailers, yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like the Denzel Washington at all.
Yeah.
Which his like
he always does that smile that okay.
His personality usually shines through his performances, but it doesn't seem to do that in this one, Roman J. Israel.
Are you a sheep or a wolf? Are you a sheep or a wolf?
And it's not a loud performance either.
No, exactly. It goes very against like his usual characters, from what I understand. So yeah, I should check that one out. Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out, he was good, but he wasn't that good, I would say. Not Oscar worthy.
Yeah, he played the straight man, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see why he was nominated, but I wouldn't have nominated him. Timothée Chalamet was really, really good in Call Me by Your Name, and if Daniel Day-Lewis wasn't in this category, I would have given it to him because he is really good. And also, I want to say Armie Hammer should have gotten a nomination because he's also amazing in that movie. Both of them are. So, yeah, they could have just removed Gary Oldman completely, really.
I don't know. Armie Hammer, to me, was a bit of a wooden board.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I kind of like him. I like him, like, off-screen as well. When, like, on Twitter or in interviews, I guess that, like, colors my impression of him in the movie. But I really liked him. And I thought their chemistry was really good in the movie.
I didn't buy it.
You didn't? Oh, okay.
No. I like segments of the movie, but yeah, that was the break moment. It was my number 10 worst movie. But then I saw Boss Baby, so it would be taken off the list.
Yeah, I will agree. I was not as floored as everyone else was about that movie, but I did feel that their performances was what I latched onto in that movie. But I guess we can all agree that Gary Oldman should not have won. Maybe a nomination. I mean, it's the kind of role that you win for because it's a lot of makeup and it's a historical character and all that. But up against Daniel Day-Lewis, I mean, no chance. No chance. But I don't know. Yeah, it was his time. It was his turn to win. Let's see. What's the next one? Director. Oh, yeah. Best director. And we have Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water. We have Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, and Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread. And Guillermo del Toro won that one. Once again, personally, I would have given it to Paul Thomas Anderson. But yeah, this was one where everyone said that Guillermo del Toro was going to win, and I don't really see it. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
I really like Guillermo del Toro's direction in The Shape of Water. I think it takes a lot to sell that premise, and I think he did.
Sure. Yeah, I'll agree to that one. What's your... have you seen it, Donnie?
See, I've seen the fish fuck movie. Yeah, I like it. I think it's beautiful. I think I may have tried to immerse the movie because I was always thinking in my head, is it better than Pan's Labyrinth? Is it better than Pan's Labyrinth? Is it better than Pan's Labyrinth? And that is a dangerous thing to do because then you're just going to compare it with Pan's Labyrinth. I think personally it's not better than Pan's Labyrinth. I think Pan's Labyrinth is the best allegory of fascism in Spain. But Shape of Water's direction is good.
Sure.
I think he gets the story right and it's well built up. But for me, Paul Thomas Anderson, and I'm very biased because I love Paul Thomas Anderson, but the direction that Paul Thomas Anderson does is so meticulous. And he's a perfectionist that we haven't had for a good while in Hollywood.
He's one of the few auteurs that we actually have, like actual like auteur directors that we have working today.
I would agree to that. Just really quickly before we continue, we got a question in the chat.
Oh.
Someone called Diener Hawkins, Reptilian Hunter, asked, he proposed here. Get Out was an entertaining but mediocre film, more like a really good Twilight Zone episode. I agree to some extent. Winning the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay is a real big stretch. Your thoughts? I understand what he's getting at. That the premise
that
in and
was
of itself,
thought-provoking.
Yeah, but like you said, Ren, it's basically the Stepford Wives. But I think that why the script won was because of the conversation created around the entire movie. So it was would you call that transformative? I'm not sure. But it did more than just tell a story, and that's why I think it won. And I think it deserved to win for that reason. So a little bit of a stretch, maybe, but I think it was the right choice. So yeah, I just thought that we got something in the chat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Guillermo del Toro. I don't know. I've always felt that he kind of, I don't know if that's the right expression. He kind of directs with a heavy hand. It's very heavy-handed, his directing, and I felt that in this as well. And I also think that his best movie is Pan's Labyrinth, and it's gonna be a while, if ever, that if he's gonna surpass that one.
Honestly, this is my favorite of his, and I'm a fan of Guillermo del Toro.
I just, like, when I think about him and his movies, the only movies that I can say, I mean, I on a personal level, I really like Pacific Rim and what's it called, Mimic. But I mean, as an actual, like, a good movie, the only other good movie he has made, I think, is Pan's Labyrinth. I haven't seen Devil's Backbone though.
Oh, or Kronos.
Kronos is good.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen that either. I was gonna watch before I watched Shape of Water. I was gonna watch Devil's Backbone, but I only found one without subtitles, so I couldn't really. But yeah, I suppose I should watch those before I judge him too harshly. But
I prefer his Spanish language films to his English language films. But like The Shape of Water was the first time that his English language film felt more like his Spanish language film, which I really enjoyed.
Well, yeah.
Actually,
that does make sense. I mean, if you put it up against Hellboy 1 and 2 or Pacific Rim, but yeah, I see it more. It had the same kind of problem as Crimson Peak had. I feel it felt a little too like ham-fisted for me. I don't know. I might be wrong, but I've seen the movie twice, and I thought maybe I missed something. But no, I just don't really get that one.
I think it's really simple and really deliberate.
Yeah, that's what I would say too, but not in a positive way. So I mean, I would, like I said, I would give it to Paul Thomas Anderson. Christopher Nolan, maybe not for Dunkirk. No, exactly, but like, it's his turn. It's one of those, because he's done a lot better movies when it comes to directing. Greta, everyone was good in this one. Now that I'm looking at it, Jordan Peele, that was probably the weakest one, if we're not counting Guillermo del Toro. And I really liked the direction in Lady Bird as well. So I don't know, but I would definitely give it to Paul Thomas Anderson. That was some meticulous directing he did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was great.
I don't know. But let's save some of the discussion about Shape of Water until we get to best movie or best film. I think that's actually the next one, right? Yeah, best picture. And well, the nominations. Let's see here. I can find a minute. Oh yeah, Shape of Water, Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, and The Post. Shape of Water won. I would just immediately like remove Darkest Hour and The Post. Both movies were fine. I prefer The Post over Darkest Hour, but they do not like fit into this category at all.
The Post was the most Oscar baity movie out of the bunch, even more so than Darkest Hour, I think.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's basically Spotlight again.
Yeah, that's true. But out of those two, I think The Post was a better movie, though. That's maybe why I think it's not as Oscar baity. But yeah, that's true. It is very reminiscent of a Spotlight.
It's the same screenwriter, so yeah.
Oh, it is? I didn't know that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, every other movie here definitely deserves its nomination. My personal favorites, once again, Phantom Thread and Lady Bird are probably those two that I would have. I don't know. I would have given it to.
My two favorites are Call Me by Your Name and Phantom Thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my two favorites are Phantom Thread. Well, I actually like Phantom Thread, 3 Billboards, and The Shape of Water.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention 3 Billboards. Sorry, 3 Billboards was nominated as well. But yeah, Phantom Thread was the clear winner for me. And I guess runner-up was Lady Bird. Because yeah, like we just said, I don't get The Shape of Water, and I know you said you completely disagree with my review of the movie.
Yeah. I respect your review,
wanna,
but I just disagree with you.
Sure. Well, I mean, do you want to like have this short discussion now, or do you want to like make a separate stream like next week or something?
I mean, we can do it now, or if you want to get Casey on it, we can both come at you. So it all depends.
I don't know, man. No, we can do a short discussion now about it.
Okay. Cool.
And if we feel like it, we can do a longer one some other time. But yeah, like, what was the like main things you disagreed about in my review?
I think well, you did mention that you didn't like the sexuality in the movie, like you thought it was too ham-fisted, and I think that sets up what we need to see in the film, and that separates it from the films that claimed it plagiarized it. The different works that claim that they plagiarized it. The other one was a play that I actually was in. So like when I heard that, I was like, really? I mean, yeah, there is like cleaning ladies, and you know, they're communicating with a dolphin, and it's sort of like it, but not really. And they do actually smuggle the creature out, smuggle the dolphin out with a laundry bin. So that's similar as well. But when the family of the people who wrote Let Me Hear You Whisper, I think is what it's called, when they were claiming that, Guillermo del Toro and the woman screenwriter, I forget her name, plagiarized. Guillermo del Toro was like, that's like saying if you made E.T. with a hamster, that would, you know, yeah, that's like saying some movie with a kid and a hamster is ripping off of E.T. Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's I can understand why they say it's kind of similar, but it's a pretty universal theme. So
yeah, I'm also biased because I like monster movies.
Okay. Well, yeah, I do too, to some extent. I mean, I'm not crazy about them, but
I do like kind of gothic Beauty and the Beast sort of tale that is told in some.
So, yeah, well, like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
I just wanted to like like here's my rebuttal, I suppose. I didn't have a problem per se with the sexuality. I actually thought that was like the driving force towards like the second half of the movie. I just on a like I said in my review, I just felt the whole masturbation thing felt kind of, I don't know, over the top. I don't really understand why it was in the movie. I understand why it was there, but I don't understand why it was in the movie. I don't know if that makes any sense.
You should part of her daily routine.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was part of our daily routine. Yeah. Fine. I guess that would be like criticizing, like, oh yeah, why did they show her polishing her shoes? So I understand it on that. Yeah, it was part of her daily routine. So yeah, it was. I said that in my review as well. It was very like particular to me, because I am a bit introverted, and like masturbation in movies in general just makes me a bit uncomfortable. So I guess that's why. But like my main problem with the movie wasn't really that. It was Michael Shannon's character mostly, I think, and the whole. I thought he was so over the top. Both his performance and his character, I thought it was so overdone, and like they were really pounding it into you, like this is the bad guy. He is what he represents everything bad in the world, and this is what we're trying to like do battle against. That was like really heavy-handed for me. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, playing on to the sexuality of the film, there is the scene with his wife, and I do think that like plays into the theme of sexuality in the movie. You know, the different ranges and that sort of thing. He is a very distinct character, and I can understand why you would say that he's simple. You know, like a simply constructed character. I didn't really have a problem with it myself. Yes, it is a little bit hammy, but it didn't bother me as much as it did you.
Oh, okay. No, I suppose. And I'm also a bit biased there because I'm a big fan of Michael Shannon. And I thought this was like, other than Man of Steel, this is probably like his most cringeworthy performance like in a long time.
Yeah.
It was so over the top. And I felt that the movie, other than his performance and some of the themes of the movie, I thought the movie, with all the technical aspects, was very subtle in its approach. So it kind of clashed when a lot of the themes and his performance was very over the top. It didn't really it wasn't as cohesive as I would have wanted it to be. So that's why I had a problem with it.
I love the thumb.
Oh yeah,
the thumb.
Yeah, his thumb.
Oh,
it got like gangrenous and stuff.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, wasn't it his what's it called? Digit? No, digit. Index finger and what's it called? Because those are the two that he like rips off at the end.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember, but I know it was like one of his fingers, and he just like.
Yeah, I that was like that was a cool scene. It was.
Yeah.
But I feel that was like another one, like, oh, you see, he is literally rotten. That's how bad he is. It's like, yeah, we get it. His fingers are falling off because he's so bad. It's sort of like the bad guy in Pan's Labyrinth, how he gets that like very like villainous scar up from his mouth up towards like his ear. It's kind of the same thing, but I felt it was a little bit overdone in this one because it was like throughout the entire movie almost. That's one of those things that when I talk about Del Toro being a bit heavy-handed with his themes, it was one of those things. I understand though why people like it, because it is a very different movie, and he makes a very strange premise work very well. But yeah, like it wasn't for me, I suppose. And that's also why I kind of like held off from making my review, because I saw it back in like the beginning of February, and I was like, I can't say this movie sucks. People are gonna lynch me. So I was really taking my time writing that script. But I don't know.
Speaking of movies that.
No, I was just gonna say, I don't blame people for liking it. I clearly see why people like it, and I understand that it's a good movie. It's just for me, like mostly on a personal level, that I don't appreciate it as much. Still a good movie.
That's sort of my take on Call Me by Your Name. You know, I get why people like it. I just think it's too much meandering and lounging around for me to actually be engaged. There was little to no conflict in the movie, and it's fine, but I feel that the movie was good at parts, but not as a whole.
Sure, I can agree to some extent on that as well. Like I said before, I did not think it was. I mean, it was like the second best reviewed movie last year or something. That's why I wanted to go see it. And I guess that's the same thing with Shape of Water. I think my expectations were a little higher than they should have been. Maybe I should have gone in a bit more like with my expectations a bit lowered. Maybe that would have helped in both those movies, but especially with Shape of Water. So I might have enjoyed it more then. I also thought, just quickly about The Shape of Water, I also thought that I felt, I don't know how much I want to spoil about it. Whatever. I felt that the whole like escape from the lab could have actually been the end of the movie, and them just going directly to the docks, and like having the relationship. I know that probably wouldn't have worked as well with the sexual aspect, but the whole like relationship them building could have all taken place in the lab, and having like the very climactic escape from the lab being the actual climax of the movie.
See, what I love about the ending is it's kind of like Pan's Labyrinth, because you can interpret it two ways. She might have lived, but I honestly think, and my co-host Casey thinks, that she totally died in that scene. They're both dead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sure, you can interpret it, and that's a good thing about it. But I get the feeling a lot of people just thought that, oh, it's so sad she died. Oh, look, she has gills now. She can breathe underwater. It was kind of a...
Look at the end of Pan's Labyrinth. You can parallel the two.
Yeah, to some extent. But I think it works. How should you say it?
It really works with what Richard Jenkins says in the narration at the beginning, with that interpretation.
Maybe. I might watch it again. But yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I think the ending of Pan's Labyrinth is definitely. There's more to interpret from what I remember. It's been a while since I saw it though, so I shouldn't talk too much about it. But when I saw it the first time, I felt the same way. Oh, you can interpret this in a lot of different ways, or two main ways. Is she dead or is she alive? Did she go to this like fantasy place, or is she just lying there dead in a pool of blood? And it's kind of the same here, but I don't know. I guess I prefer the ending of Pan's Labyrinth, even if they are kind of similar. But yeah, I might have to watch it again then. It's not often that I watch a movie 3 times if I don't like it, but I might have to do that with this one. So yeah. Still though, my pick wouldn't have been Shape of Water, even if I really liked it. I don't think so, because Phantom Thread, like across the board, best movie I've seen. For me, it's the best movie I've seen of 2018, because it came out here in February. So it's definitely the best movie I've seen of 2018.
Yeah, my co-host, that's her favorite movie as well. And she's a costume designer, so obviously,
well, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So she certainly has a lot more to say about the Phantom Thread than I ever could, because there's a lot of subtle, very attention to detail things that are in the costuming that tell you certain things about characters that, unless you're familiar with those aspects, you wouldn't necessarily get.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, I'm reading. We have another comment from Diener Hawking's Reptilian Hunter. He's talking about the masturbation scene. I just want to say the masturbation scene is a tip of the hat to the dolphin researchers working on dolphin intelligence in the 70s. They would regularly jerk them off, technical term, to placate the dolphins. Really? I don't know. That sounds like a stretch if you want to talk about a real big stretch. But okay, I don't know. I don't think that's it though. I think the masturbation in The Shape of Water is to show us that she is somewhat sexually active, and that's why she.
I think the masturbation scene is very symbolic, because she masturbates at the same time that she boils the eggs that she gives the monster. God. If we're getting we're gonna get no Freudian here.
Now it gets even more. Oh my God!
Yeah, I directly understood that reference in a way, but I like that dolphin jerk off theory.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
take that or my Freudian egg theory.
Yeah, well, if that's the thing with the eggs, that makes a lot of sense, and that makes it even more like hammy. Like, oh my God, we get it. Yeah, she's prepping her eggs. We get it. Oh, that was like the second time I watched that movie. That was me. I was just screaming at myself, like, yeah, we get it. Like, screaming at the movie. I get it. Move on.
I take it you'd prefer cooked mushroom.
Yeah, I like eggs, but no, I know what you mean. No, well, listen, I mean, I don't want to come off like I hate the movie, because I don't. I like the movie. I just thought it wasn't as good as people made it out to be. And
what I've understood is that you have difficulties with the political aspects or the references to minority issues.
No, I don't mind those things in movies. I just thought it wasn't handled.
You believe he's very over. He's really hammering it. Like, for example, the scene in the ice cream parlor.
Oh my God! Yes, yeah. Once again,
I like that scene. When I read when I listened to your review, I was re-evaluating that scene, and it's so much at the same time.
Yeah, it was
a little shuffling on me, really.
Yeah, it felt like they were just piling on, like, to show that if a character is really bad back in the 50s or 60s, 50s, he's completely like he's super evil. He hates everything that is not like the norm back then. I don't know. I felt it was a bit heavy-handed. But like I also say in my review, it's still a good movie. And I really respect it for what it manages to do on such a short, small budget. And I really wish, like, this is the way we go forward in Hollywood. They go forward in Hollywood.
19 million.
That is insane.
It's completely insane. Like, just on the asset or the amphibian man, I mean, that was a great costume. Doug Jones is a wonderful performer. Honestly, I would have liked to have seen him get some acting nods for that. I know that sounds weird, but like I think that oftentimes performers like that don't get the sort of recognition that they deserve. I mean, Andy Serkis should have been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, he should have been nominated at least twice for that part. I mean, yeah, I think if we're gonna start like that's the next step when it comes to like being inclusive, I suppose. Like people who act in motion capture suits and in like full makeup like that.
Well, if Gary Oldman can get a nomination completely
exactly.
in makeup, then like what's the difference between that and a mocap actor?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I know this was a discussion they had back in 2014 or 15 about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and I completely agree. That Andy Serkis got snubbed both times.
Well, War for the Planet of the Apes got snubbed completely this year.
Yeah, and it is weird. I know we talked a little bit about that in the comments on one of our videos, and yeah, after that, I have watched it again, and yeah, it is an amazing movie. Maybe not like best motion picture of the year, but definitely like acting, music, maybe even directing, I would say, because it's a really good movie. But
yeah, I'm really excited to see his Batman movies. So long as they're not part of the DCEU, because good God, I've hated every single one.
I didn't catch what the first you said something about Batman movies.
Yeah, Matt Reeves, the director of War for the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, is directing a Batman trilogy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that even.
And right now, he has Jake Gyllenhaal to pick as Batman.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, I think Jake Gyllenhaal would make a better Joker after seeing his performance in Nightcrawler, but that could be interesting.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah. Talking about DC movies, that's a maze, if you will. Because if they're making if they're making a new Batman trilogy, they're making like 2 separate Joker movies, but they're still making another Suicide Squad. I don't know. I think they should just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, I didn't even like Wonder Woman. I know you think that The Shape of Water was the most overrated movie last year. I think Wonder Woman was the most overrated movie last year. You can't have a villain like that and be nominated for an Oscar.
No. What was it nominated?
No, but everybody was complaining that it got snubbed.
Oh no. It was not snubbed. It was I liked it, but it never like broke that barrier between comic book movie and movie. It's a fine comic book movie, but
people were saying that Gal Gadot got robbed for
No, that's bullshit. Anyone who says that's just like that's the political aspect of it. Oh, she was playing a strong, independent woman. Yeah, but she wasn't good. She was fine at best.
She's a wooden actress that like I always see the performer in anything that she does. She never melds into the role.
No. That's true. That was not a snub. It wasn't spectacular in any fashion. It was fine. I liked it. I guess that's a little bit also because I was so low after Suicide Squad and Batman vs Superman, because I am a DC fan. If we're gonna talk comics, I don't really read them anymore, but I used to be a DC fan, so I was really happy that it was just good.
Yeah. Not for me.
But yeah, those were the Oscars, or the winners and nominees at least.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a strong year, stronger than last year, I think.
Yeah.
Especially for the motion picture nominations. I might not agree with them, all of them, but I really liked. I liked all of the movies. So I'm glad I didn't decide to watch the actual Oscars though, because it's much more comfortable to just read the winners afterwards. Also because it's in the middle of the night and I had to go to work. Like if I would have watched it, I would have finished watching the Oscars, then like leave for work like 30 minutes later. So I'm glad I skipped it. Who knows though? Maybe next year. I don't know. Any of you want to add anything? Ren, you want to plug your channel or something before we leave?
Yeah, so I am the editor and host to another YouTube channel called All Walks of Film, where my host Casey and I talk about films. I also did a full prediction list for every single nominee, so you can go and watch that. Yes, every single, all 24 nominees. I watched 53 of the nominated films. So it is coming from a place of, it is an informative choice. And out of the entire Oscars, I got 6 wrong.
That's pretty good. Did you do better or worse last year? I remember you talked about that.
I did worse last year because I didn't do the shorts. Okay. But I got all the shorts wrong this year too. But yeah, I got the editing, all the editing stuff right. All the stuff with sound right this year. Last year, I thought La La Land was a little bit more loved. I thought La La Land was going to be loved a little bit more than it was.
Yeah. That was my for last year. I was unable to decide in my predictions between Moonlight and La La Land. So I guess I was sort of right because they couldn't really pick either.
Yeah.
But those were like last year. Those were my only two. Like no other movie can actually win. And this year was like between a lot of movies that for my part could have won, like Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, Get Out. Even I would say Dunkirk. So this was a better year than last year, for me at least.
And I just want to say that there are 2 films that I think were completely snubbed, and I just want to mention them right now. Sure. And that are Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah,
I never saw Wonder Woman movie. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a movie about a 3-way relationship that doesn't really fetishize it, but talks about how alternative lifestyle is something that means a lot to them and is important to them, and it gives you a new insight of Wonder Woman in general.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about it. I don't think it got a theatrical release here in Sweden though, so that's probably why I missed it.
Yeah. And Raw was snubbed for the French film.
Oh,
yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about Raw. Well, oh yeah. Do you have anything you want to plug, Danny?
No, I just should start that flipping YouTube channel again.
Yeah,
I'm so used to
do it.
I should. I don't know what I should focus on. I have my moments that I watch certain movies of one director and make like should make like a top 10 of it. I'm watching again all the Paul Thomas Anderson movies. So I started with Hard 8 the other day. Saw Boogie Nights again. Saw Magnolia again, which is my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie. And guess what? It is not my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie anymore.
Well, he made Phantom Thread.
Dun, dun, dun. No. Oh, no. It's not Phantom Thread neither. It narrows it down, right?
Well, it's either There Will Be Blood or The Master. No, maybe Boogie Nights for you?
No, Boogie Nights is good, but Boogie Nights is a very good Robert Altman and Martin Scorsese tribute, I would say.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
And Magnolia is so much a Robert Altman movie.
But what is your favorite thing? Because I'm kind of drawing a blank. Then it's There Will Be Blood. Oh, I said There Will Be Blood.
Okay. I think There Will Be Blood is so. Oh.
Well, maybe that's what you should focus on and do like deep dives into directors and screenwriters or whatever, and do like almost like video essays. That's popular.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot channel called Lessons from the Screenplay. I think it's one of the greater YouTube channels because you can get so much interesting how screenplay, how to write a screenplay and how it works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my little brother never came to the chat, so
no, I know. We missed him, but
I bought him. Did you see the gift I bought him?
Yeah, we can talk about that after the stream though. I saw your link, but
yeah, it's gonna be a fun party game for him.
Yeah, but just quickly wrap this up then. Yeah, you should definitely check out Ren's channel, All Walks of Film. And you and I are also going to do a stream later this month. Like we haven't exactly decided yet, 25th or the 26th of March. I just want to plug that. We're actually going to do a I don't know, like a retrospective of the Planet of the Apes franchise.
Ooh.
Yeah,
because the franchise is actually celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and since it's my favorite sci-fi franchise, I really wanted to like have a
it's mine
discussion.
too.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of fit the bill that we do it together. So we're gonna do that later this month. But
yeah, and Casey is she's recorded her take on A Ghost Story. And I'm going to make like a little video essay to that because it is hilarious. She thinks it's one of the worst movies that she's ever seen.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people doesn't like that. I haven't seen it, but it sounds like a movie I would like though. So, well, we'll see.
I definitely recommend you watch the movie before you see her review of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's on my to-do list, to watch list. But yeah, so that's the only plan though. For next week, I'm not sure. I'm thinking we might do a list, like we did last week, Donnie. Oh well, you weren't in that one, but you know we talked about sci-fi movies. Yeah, I'm thinking
you made fun of me. You made so much fun of me. Oh, Donnie, he's put in his top 10 list.
Blade Runner,
that Blade Runner cut. But
but yeah, so that's the plan. We're probably gonna do some sort of top 10 list for next week, and then later this month we're doing the Planet of the Apes retrospective. But that's about it. And until then, have a good one, I suppose.
Yeah.